One. We are live.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're live. Obviously, that's what we always start off with, the word. We are live. We are here. This is Real Politics Live with Roman, Manny, and Josh. Our special guest is the cheese, Erasmo Castro.
The one and only.
How are you doing, Erasmo?
We're doing good. Yes.
Good. Your hair is really looking very dapper. Do you put any cream on that stuff or what?
Actually, it's all 100% natural cream.
Oh, natural cream. I don't know where that cream comes from, but it's cream.
Just make it calm.
I'm amazed with all that gray stuff you have. Like perfectly gray, and I'm amazed. I'm actually amazed by your chin too. Like it's like nice and pointy. Not like mine, dude. Mine's like all freaking like, double chin. I'm getting too fat.
I'll tell you, plastic surgery does wonders.
It really does. I mean, are you the only elected official or former elected official that's had plastic surgery, or can we not name names today?
Well, I'll say that I'm probably the only individual to ever get elected who will probably admit to it.
Because there's some interesting looking, I'm not going to say women, but women on signs around town that I'm amazed at how nice and shiny and clean cut and, perfect filled in lips and stuff.
Yeah, they haven't aged in 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's your favorite sign right now? I'm stalling for time a little bit. Hey, Chelsea, stalling for time so we can have people come over and I can share it. I haven't even shared it on my page. Who's your favorite look other than you? What's your favorite looking sign right now? The one that makes you think, hey, that's fake. That doesn't really look like them.
I think Mr. Diaz's sign. It's a great picture. I think there was a little bit of touch up on it. My opponent has a little bit of touch up on it, but I will say to their credit, I don't see as much touch ups as I did back in 2018. Because let me tell you, those people that put up pictures up there don't look anything like those pictures now. It's like Minerva La Pingüina's poster. I mean, goodness gracious, that was a picture that she took back in 1940, I think, or 1950 when they had just discovered.
We've actually talked about that on the show. We talked about it at least a couple of times. It's like glamour shots. It looks like glamour shots, and we're expecting her to be, I don't know, doing a quinceañera picture or something. As we've been joking. My favorite is actually your guy who you called flip-flopping Phil and I call pandering Phil.
Oh yeah. Well,
I like his chair right in front of it, and like, what is he trying to hide? He has his hand around his crotchy area, like his fingers in there. ¿Qué estás agarrando? Like, what are you trying to do? Like, what do you think, man? What is he hiding, Erasmo? Do you know?
It's the Michael Jackson pose.
Wait, no, but the chair, man, the chair looks like, I know that we're not supposed to make fun of our, older people. I mean, but we're old too. I mean, he has a chair holding on for dear life. Is that like a walking chair, like a walker? Like, how old is he? Like 80 years old? Do you have any idea how old he is?
Philip turned 70 yesterday.
70 years old?
70 years old.
Wow, and he's running for office. Is he the oldest candidate in the BISD race? No.
Yes.
He's the oldest. He's older than Coach Joe.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. Coach Joe is 82.
Shut up. I didn't even think, I've been joking that I think they're in the 80s, but I didn't really realize they were in their 80s.
82. Philip is 70. Minerva, I think, is 67.
Oh, but she looks like 30 in that picture, though.
She looks like something. I'm not going to say what, but I don't want to get banned from Facebook. But
no, I don't want to say what.
Yeah, no.
I mean, it's like a Holder hairstyle, and I'm not here to make fun of people, but it's just, you and I, we've run for office before. We know our signs of what they are. Manny, Josh. Oh, Josh, I haven't even introduced you. Josh is on mute. I'm assuming because his wife is cooking in the background. What is your wife cooking? Oh my God! I can only, man. Is it any good?
Is it any good? You see my belly out.
Don't ask that question. Well, the reason we have Erasmo on, well, Josh, Erasmo's going to be with us for at least an hour. Hopefully at least an hour because he has his show at 9, and we have Josh. And after, unless Erasmo wants to join us when we talk about conservative Republican stuff, which I don't see he wants to get in trouble with his friend, I don't want to say her name, but we don't want her to get mad. Anyway, the reason we have Erasmo on and we're going to have a lot of candidates on is because we're going to ask some questions. have fun, but I'll actually ask serious questions, because we don't have that in our community, right? Well, we have some people that try to ask questions, but they don't, they don't know what they are. And the first question I want to ask you is, who is more hated in this community in Brownsville, me or you?
Who is more what?
Hated in this community.
I would say that maybe 6 months ago it was me. But as of six to 8 months ago, now it's you've gotten that new mantle.
Wow, that's lovely. I love the fact. I don't understand why people hate you so much, though, or did hate you so much, Erasmo. Like, it's a love-hate relationship with both of us. Like, you either love us or you hate us. Why?
I think with me it was they didn't completely grasp or understand, what we were doing with our social media platform. And I think one of the things that this pandemic has brought to light is how needed of a service actually Erasmo Castro provides for the community. And I think that there was a misconception in regards to what the page was really, really about, to whereas now more individuals are going like, oh, my Lord, what this guy is saying, is coming out to be fact and true. So again, it just brought a lot of the things that were kept under wraps to light. And I think people are starting to appreciate and are starting to thrive and want to have that, that at the moment information. And, they want you to produce facts. And that's something that is very difficult for our elected officials, not only at the district, but also at the city and the county level, have failed miserably at doing it, producing facts.
Erasmo, you and I have known each other for years. For a lot of years. So I want to,
not biblically though.
Not that way. You and I both went to UT Brownsville. The first time I heard about you at UT Brownsville, I was probably, I was hated then, obviously. But you were our SGA president.
Yes.
I want to go down memory lane a little bit, and then we'll talk about BISD, obviously, because I want people to get to know the Erasmo that I know. Why did you want to be SGA president at UTB? Why? What was your motivating? Why did you do it? Well, nobody wants to do that job, but you did.
Well, it's kind of funny because at first I didn't. I mean, I'd come back to school after many, many years. Hey, Benny, I'd come back to school after many, many years of not going to school, with the thought of, let me actually do something. I dropped out of high school. I got a GED, and then I went to TSC to start taking some classes back in 86, 87. But back then, you would take classes just to get the financial aid, because back then you'd get a pretty hefty little check. You get a good $600 or $800. So I got my $600 or $800 for financial aid, y me largo para la isla. I'm gone to the island. So that's what it was all about. So I decided to go back to school back in 97, and I said, let me just go back to school. And I started to enjoy it. So I wanted to be a part of different clubs. So I decided to enter SGA, and I was just a member of SGA because they didn't even have to vote you in. Just like, oh, you want to be an SGA? You're an SGA. You want to be an SGA?
That happened to me. That happened to me too.
Because no one wanted to, so you want to be SGA? You're SGA. So I was a member of SGA, and then I started to go like, why are we doing this? And we had a president and a vice president, and I'm going like, oh man, they're president, vice president, and then our president and vice president would be out there kissing the butt of Julieta Garcia, Dr. Garcia, and everyone out there, and I was going like, why? Why don't we question them as to why we're doing things? And the president, the vice president, didn't care too much for that. So I sort of did a mutiny.
Well, you see, that's what me and you have that in common. That's why we get along so well. I was in SGA this was after you were in SGA after I was in SGA, and I was new to UTB. And at UTB, I met the president, and she was like, well, we need a secretary. And I'm like, wait, you want me to be an officer? I just got here. I've only been here like, a couple of months. And she made me a secretary immediately. And I was done being secretary after like 2 months because I didn't like the same thing you did, not being able to ask questions. But, when you ran for president, it was kind of crazy How much did Juliet Garcia despise you when you were president?
Oh, she hated me. And I'll tell you, and see, this is when I started to learn how corrupt things were in politics. Actually, that's what started off. I became president of UTB TSC student government, and part of the responsibility was sending different individuals to be a part of the different committees that the college, the university had. So I sent someone into foreign student club or something, organization, whatever, and his name is Sam, and Sam, called me up, said, "Erasmo, I can't make it." And I said, "Okay, I'll go." So I went because Sam couldn't make it, and I'm sitting in the meeting, and the first thing that I noticed was that Julieta Garcia had the meeting stacked with a lot of her Scorpion ambassadors, and I'm going like, how could these guys actually speak for the students when they're receiving scholarships from Julieta Garcia?
No.
And they were making decisions in regards to increasing students' tuition. And I said, why? Well, we want to increase student tuition because all students pay an international student charge or something. So they wanted to raise it by $1. And I said, well, what are we getting for $1? And they said, well, it's just $1. And I'm going like, it could be 10 cents. And I'm still wanting to know, what are you doing with my damn 10 cents? So they said, well, and I don't know why you're making a big deal out of it. It's going to come out of their financial aid. And that just ticked me off more. We're like, are y'all crazy? I mean, are y'all nuts?
They are.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of your all's mouth? That's still our money.
Yeah.
That's still our money. Doesn't matter if financial.
They don't care. I mean, and even now, it's the same sort of way. Because I remember, again, my first TSC board meeting, Mary Rose Cárdenas was the trustee there. Was she the trustee then when you were there, or no, as SJ president? No, right? Yeah, she was there, and they were talking about tuition and fees, and she said almost verbatim what you just said. And I'm just like, what is wrong with these people? Oh, it's okay, we raise it. You're going to come from the financial aid. They're not going to feel it. Not only that, but the financial aid is going to go up anyway. Their Pell Grants are going to go up, and they're not going to feel like we might as well raise it. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. You do whatever you, Richard, you write whatever you want to write. If it comes on, it comes on. I don't just get mad at people. You write what you want. Make sure you like the page, like our page, turn on your live video notifications because we do live stuff here, and it'll be fun. And if you're on YouTube, please subscribe to our YouTube page. Manny will put it up at some point. All right. So when you were SGA president, after SGA president, you went off. You got your degree. You went off and did whatever you wanted to do. But then you decided one day to start Brownsville Cheeseman. Now, I want to tell everybody the first time I learned about Brownsville Cheeseman. I saw it on Facebook. I had no idea what was going on. You and I were chatting. I had no idea who it was. I even asked you, do you have any idea who the hell Brownsville Cheeseman is? Like, no, I don't know. I know nothing. I have no idea. And then one day on the phone, like I asked you, dude, I heard it's you. It's not you. You remember this at all? Do you remember this phone? You probably don't remember.
Yeah, of course I do.
Yeah, and then you're like, it's me. Son of a bitch, you lied to me. I was so pissed off at you. You didn't want to tell us, but it was a fun page when it came out. What was the reason you called it Brownsville Cheeseman number one? Why did you call it Brownsville Cheeseman? Well,
it was a play on the word, and it was a play on the word because it wasn't even spelled as Cheeseman. And a lot of people, I think that's one of the things that was lacking in the city of Brownsville. People, sometimes don't grasp on to satire, to play on words. Sarcasm sometimes goes like over a lot of individuals' heads. And it's Brownsville Cheesemeh, and it's spelled Cheezmeh, because back then there was a lot of meh. So I thought it just sounded cool. Plus, it was a play on the word, but it didn't mean necessarily gossip. What it meant was, and the motto of it was, back then, the individuals who had all the information in regards to everything that was going on in Brownsville were the individuals that cut your hair. Because when you were cutting your hair, you learned about everything. Yeah. What was going on in the city, who was sleeping with who, and blah, 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 and everything. They knew it all. barbers, those barberos, they had all the information. The others were the taxi drivers. Taxi drivers, they knew everything. Who they were taking to the hotels, who was cheating on that person, on this person, who was stealing money. They knew it all. And the third were the viejitos that would sit at Market Square in the benches next to the fountain, because those you'd sit, ay no, que este es un ratero, que les es esto. So those are the individuals that had all the information. So I thought, hey man, let's have a page where all that information can be exposed and everyone can know. They don't have to go to the barbershop, they don't have to get on a taxi, which hardly exists anymore, and they don't have to sit at Market Square while people are spitting in the fountain. A page where everyone could join in and share a lot of the things that were going on around town. So that was the play on the word. Most people, and unfortunately, most people back then didn't get it. I think now with technology the way it is and how advanced we are, I think more people are in tune. And I think that's one of the things that I have actually been able to also bring to the table, to bring in that little bit of, Oasis Cafe, exactly.
That is true.
To bring in that little ounce of culture, because it's culture, being able to play along with sarcasm, to comprehend, to understand. It's an art form and it's culture. And I want to believe that because of me and that page, it sort of brought that little bit of culture to Brownsville.
Yeah, no, I mean, enjoyed the page, but it became the first page, I think, in Brownsville where we got active, and there was a call to action. I mean, Josh right now has a Facebook page called the Cameron County Conservatives Facebook page, and it's an active organization. They're going to be block walking. They're going to be doing all kinds of things for their movement.
Good.
But Brownsville Cheeseman was the real first one. It was a truly grassroots. And the first thing you all did, and we did, because I was part of it too. I mean, I can't just say you were. We were all part of it, because you were the jefe, but there were other people that wanted to join and provide information and get out there. And it was Fly Frontera. And I think, that was really the first real big thing that we did, right?
That was one of the, I guess, the one thing that places on the map. I will say that before that, we did stand with TSE.
That was with Adela, right? That was Adela.
Well, I don't want to say it was Adela. It was Save TSE from Texas Alamos College, and because back then, the University of Texas in Austin, they wanted to consume our property. They wanted us to gift them over $250 million in buildings and property. And then for us to continue to pay like $25 million in bonds that were owed by the college. So they wanted everything and to leave us the bill. And I said, heck no. So I want to believe that was one of our first stances, that no, TSC is ours. You see, and that this goes back to something that I've shared with individuals out there. This is your government. You don't go destroying property, because that property is yours. And that's one of the things that I really think has TSE really was being given the short end of the stick for a long time. It was. And I think that's one of the things, Mr. Weiss, I think that's one of the things that a lot of folks here don't understand. This is our community. Those benches that they just put at Morningside Park, they're your benches.
Yeah.
And the city leadership has made people believe that it's not your property, it's their property. So what happens is when kids go tag it or go destroy it, they don't realize or understand that they're destroying their own property. It's yours.
You don't have respect for it anymore.
It's like, you remember that movie Trading Places?
Yes, love that movie. Yeah, Eddie Murphy.
When Eddie Murphy is in the house for the first time and he's trying to pocket stuff.
Oh yeah.
And, he doesn't realize it's theirs. Yeah.
And the guy's telling him, "It's yours. You don't have to take it. You don't have to get it. It's yours." Well, that's what I think that has happened here. People find it very hard to believe that everything in this city, in this community, belongs to the people. It doesn't belong to a board. It doesn't belong to a commission. It doesn't belong to a committee. It belongs to the people.
Yeah. Myra had a question. Her question was it the first in Cameron County? I'd argue it was. I argue that Brownsville Cheese Mill was the first of its kind in Cameron County, maybe even in the entire valley. And it had there were other little cheeseman groups that started throughout the valley, but yours was the first one. And that's
I think it was the first one. Now I know San Benito has one. Harlingen has a small one. Sorry,
Weslaco had one as well. I remember Weslaco.
There's one in Weslaco. There's one in Corpus Christi. So it started to. And again, I a lot of individuals reached out to me and said, "Hey, do you mind if we use the same name?" I said, "No, man, I haven't trademarked anything. It is my
property." Yeah, he thinks it's his property.
It is my hope that every city, every community has an avenue, like a message board where individuals can go and share their concerns. I told people that actually San Benito was one of them that was very gracious, and they reached out to me and I said, "Bro, take the name, take whatever you want. It's just make it yours." I mean, if you're asking me for some suggestions, I would suggest this and this and this. But that's the only thing. Kevin, if you don't mind, let me know, Kevin. My nurses appreciate it. Kevin Montoya is from Montoya's drive-through.
Okay. I don't know who that is.
And I really appreciate Kevin. Let me know. And we'll get together. My nurses need them. My nurses are very, very grateful. And you see, this is what my page does. It brings community together to find solutions to the different things that ail us. So yeah, Kevin, send me an inbox, and I'll send you an inbox in a bit.
Kevin, feel free to put your address of your business on the comment, bro. And we don't mind sharing it with everybody. Feel free. We want to support you for supporting the community that way. After you did Cheeseman, sorry to interrupt you, Erasmo. After you did Cheeseman, at one point you decided to run for office. And what was the first office you ran for? Do you remember?
Yeah, I ran for mayor of the city of Brownsville.
Yeah, and it was an amazing race. Who else was on that panel of mayoral candidates?
Well, it's very interesting because I never had any aspirations to run for a public office at all. I just not my thing. I think working behind the scenes and how municipal government works a bit more accessible to people. Yes.
Yep.
I never opted to start. And actually, I was at Brownsville Day at the Capitol, and I'd invite myself to go to Brownsville Day because if it's Brownsville Day, I'm from Brownsville. I'm going to Brownsville Day. And back then, Tony Martinez was mayor, and he was going like, "What is this guy doing over here?" Because it was their own little elitist little group. And I said, "Screw it, I'm going." So back then, we were looking for candidates to run for mayor, and I ran into Trey Mendez at the Capitol. And I spoke with Trey. I said, "Trey, man, why don't you run for mayor?" I said, I think you do a good job. And, Trey and I have always been friends. Well, not always, but we've been friends for a good while. And I said, why don't you run for mayor? And Trey goes, "And that's why I can't. My business is doing good. I'm involved with TSC." He says, "Why don't you run for mayor?" And I'm going like, "You're crazy. There's no way, bro." And this was on a Wednesday. Well, on Saturday morning that week, I woke up and I said, "Why don't I run for mayor?"
Yeah, I think you asked me too, and I was like, "Fuck it, run." Yeah. I remember that. You want me to run for mayor? Like, do it.
So
do it.
That morning, I did a little wonky little graphic, and I said, "I'm running for mayor." And a lot of people thought, this guy's crazy. And I sure enough picked up the packet and, went out, got some signatures. And let me tell you, people came to sign my forms. I didn't do much of looking for signatures. And I ran for mayor of the city of Brownsville against Tony Martinez, the incumbent, Pat Ahumada, William Garza, Robert Sanchez, and Brenda Hoyas. I love Brenda Hoyas.
Brenda's great.
A total of 6 of us that were running for office that time around. And it was an interesting experience. I'd never run for anything, and I had absolutely no clue whatsoever in regards on how to put up a sign, what to do. I had nothing. Couldn't do anything. Didn't know.
And you came in third place, right? And when you ran?
Made a lot of mistakes, and I came in third place.
Yeah.
And everyone was tripping. They thought like, "What? I sure as heck did come into third place." And I said, "There's something here."
Yeah. Well, what I enjoyed about that particular race was, you ended up running for other offices, and some of us were afraid. We don't want you to become like William Garza. I love William, great guy, but he runs for everything. We didn't want you to become like Joey Lopez tampoco, who ran for everything until you got elected, right? So we didn't want that to happen, and you decided to run for Democrat Party chair, and you lost, but it was a fun race against Amber. Then you ran for city commission against Rose Gowen. I thought you had a shot on that one. I really thought you had a shot, but then you decided to run for BISD. And I told you, you run for this office, this better be the last, you either win or this is the last thing you're running for, because I'm done. This is ridiculous. But I told you had a shot of winning, and you ran and you won. And now what people misunderstood about your election and when you ran for BISD, you did a lot of votes early on in November when you were sworn in, because you really believed in unity. One of the things that people didn't understand, they were like, dude, we're going to vote for you. People that you and I know that would probably only want to vote for you, but they voted for you, and they're like, dude, don't F this up. Don't mess this up. And earlier I said the F word earlier, but I'm trying to quote myself. I want to make sure you understand I was quoting myself what I said back then. You wanted unity on the board. You didn't want there to be fights. You didn't want there to be anything. So when you voted for certain things with your favorite trustee, Sylvia, it wasn't because you were trying to curry favor with her. It wasn't you were Sylvia's puppet. You were trying to do, let's all do the 7-0. Let's all be a united front. At some point, you're going to fight it out. You're going to duke it out. But when push came to shove, you started fighting. They didn't like the fact that you were fighting back, right? Is that fair? Is that a fair assessment of what happened to you?
No, not really, Roman. And I'll explain. Look, I was sworn into office November the 6th. November the 6th was election day. A week later, I was sworn into office. Within 2 months, I walked myself into the FBI, and I reported misdoings, misdeeds. I reported corruption because I had sworn an oath, to the people, and I was going to keep my promises. I was not going to be a part of the corrupt political machine that exists here in Brownsville, because I hate it. And some people say, Erasmo, please don't ever go that route. And I said, guys, I have a great life here in the city of Brownsville. People treat me very, very well. I will never steal a dime from my children or from my community. I don't have that need. And you know me, Roman. I'm not a rich man. I don't have great wealth, but I live very, very comfortably thanks to the amazing family and amazing friends that in time have become family. I do well. So I've never been a part of the corrupt political machine. I reported Sylvia and a lot of other board members' misdoings on February 14th of 2019. Again,
That was 2 days after the famous fake movie project, right? Because there was the vote on February 12th when the fake movie project was approved, and you went 2 days later. Is that about the right timeline?
Yes, but with a fake news, and then again, and I'll say this because I'm off the board. But with that movie deal, I automatically wanted to vote no. I mean, I literally wanted to vote no because of the individual that was involved in it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't trust, because of the previous dealings with the district. I just didn't. It didn't sit well with me. But and again, this is the part that a lot of people don't understand, because a lot of people are like, well, you voted for these things. I said, yeah, right. We vote on what is presented to us by administration in regards to information. And let me tell you, I had it set in my mind to vote no, just because I didn't care too much for the individual that was presenting the program. But after we read all the information, and I was the one that was out there asking questions in regards to it. I mean, it was going to promote the district. It was, not going to cost us any money. It was part of marketing. And again, I'm well versed in marketing, and I could see the marketing value in it. And then, I'm going like, how can I vote no? It's, it looks amazing. And honestly, Roman, to this day, I do not know how they expected to make money off this movie. Honestly, I mean, hopefully after the case starts with Sylvia and we start to learn a lot more of the dealings and a lot more of the information that we don't have, maybe it'll be clear back then. But to this day, it boggles my mind as to how they were going to make money off of that fake movie. I still don't know, And again, we don't know, because one of the things that the federal government does really well is they keep everything until they go to trial, and then you start to see their cards. So,
Yeah.
but I have faith that we'll soon learn.
Yeah, and that case really opened my eyes to a lot of stuff in the city, or the indictment, not the city but BISD. And why do you want to go back to BISD? I know to maybe to go fix it, but one of our good friends, Steve, I'm not gonna say his last name, always says it's like something about snakes, that there's just a bunch of snakes everywhere ready to bite you. Why would you want to go back in that pit of snakes?
Again, one of the things that I set myself apart from other individuals that run for office. I'm in tune with my community. I am you, and I feel the sentiment, and I feel the angst, and people want something different. They want individuals that are not afraid to stand up to the bullies, are not afraid to stand up to corruption, are not afraid to take hits, because as well as anyone else out there that I've taken a lot of personal hits.
Yeah.
Because I with the DWI, and I accepted responsibility for my own actions, my DWI, and I faced them and I dealt with them, and I'll continue to deal with them until that's put to completely to rest. But with that said, a lot of individuals out there, continue to hide, continue to shy away from the corruption, and I have never. I've always faced it face to face. And one of the things that Sylvia Atkinson brought to not only the district, but to the community as a whole, was pure, unadulterated evil. That was evil. And Minerva Peña is just as evil. Drew Brown is just as evil. Prissy Roca Tipton, for having swayed their ways, just as evil. And I'm sorry, Philip, for being so wishy-washy. Being complacent is partially to blame as well. And again, I think one of the things that separates me from all the rest is that I've never shied away from a challenge, from all odds. And let me tell you, there's a lot of people that would want to bet there's no way that Erasmo Castro is coming back onto the board because of DWI, because of the resignation, whatever. The resignation, there's no way, and I'll take those odds.
Well, I'm going to do right now, before we get into specific questions on BISD, I want to do something a little bit fun. It's something that I wanted to do, rapid fire questions. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. You have 1 minute to answer, short answer, 1-2 words, rapid fire. Okay, these are supposed to be fun, Erasmo. Okay,
good.
So I'm going to get through as many of these questions that I can in 1 minute. Okay, we might not get to all of them. So are you ready with the clock?
Yep. We're ready.
All right. Better cheese, American or Swiss?
American.
Favorite catchphrase, Nombre Chet Up or Sylvia's Where's Our Money?
Sylvia, get back the money!
Favorite nickname, Flip-Flopping Philip Cowan or La Pingüina Minerva Peña?
La Pingüina.
La Pingüina. Jennifer Lopez or Shakira?
Shakira.
Shakira. All right. Better Gabriel, Ana Gabriel or Juan Gabriel?
Juan Gabriel, no doubt.
All right. Best Brownsville City Commissioner on the commission right now?
No comment. I know the above.
Favorite former Brownsville elected official, Charlie Atkinson or Cesar de Leon? Who's your favorite?
None of the above.
Okay, who's the worst public administrator? Brownsville City Manager Noe Bernal or Brownsville Superintendent Rene Gutierrez?
Rene Gutierrez.
He's worse. Okay. Better former Cameron County elected official that went to jail, Conrado Cantu or Abel Limas?
Conrado Cantu.
Okay. What is your go-to karaoke song if you did karaoke?
Comfortably Numb.
Oh, hey, dude, that's Pink Floyd. Great. Open casket or closed casket?
Open casket, baby. Open. I didn't pay all this money for this plastic surgery for nothing.
All right, last one. Well, actually, I got a couple more. Imagine you're a beauty pageant contestant. Shock. What is the one most important thing our society needs?
This beautiful face.
Okay. Favorite troll?
Roman Perez.
Oh, I'm a blondes or brunettes? Blondes or brunettes?
Oh, blondes, baby, all day long.
All right. That's been 2 minutes. There you go. That's our 2-minute rapid fire question. We'll be doing that every single different question I'll come up with. Thank you for participating. You win nothing. You win
Love
nothing.
you too, Edgar. Love you too, Edgar.
Awesome. All right. Your opponent is the daughter of a city commissioner. We saw her at a forum. I was not impressed. I welcome her to come on my show. I will be fair and happy. And anything you want to come on, I'll ask you questions. But one of the things that I found in her presentation lacking is her inability to understand what BISD is really about. And so the number one issue at BISD seemed to be from the AOB forum was coronavirus. Why is coronavirus the number one issue for you? Or is it the number one issue for you?
Well, I'm going to say that it's not coronavirus, Roman. I think it's the disregard, the disrespect,
Okay.
the anxiety that this superintendent, his administration, and this corrupt board have dished out to my community. People are concerned. People are concerned with their health, their well-being. But we're all aware of coronavirus. We all know what the CDC guidelines are. Most people do. But what is more concerning to my people at the district is how unappreciated they really are. I mean, one of the things that I am going to post a week before early voting is the recorded conversation that the superintendent had with some of the principals, some of his administrators out there. I have the recording where he literally says the teachers are lazy. They just don't want to work. That they'll go out there to the beach, they'll go to HEB, they'll go to Walmart to go buy groceries, but they don't want to come to work. And that is very, very disheartening. It's disheartening for me, and it's very, very disheartening for my people out there.
Do you think that if you're on this board, you've worked with the superintendent in the past when you were on the board, people will point out that you voted to hire this guy, right? I think you voted to hire this guy.
Yes.
Do you think that he's worthy of working with you at this point? If you get on the board, having to work with him, what kind of pressure are you going to put on him to make sure that he does the will, not only of you, but of the majority of the board, and be able to really listen to our teachers, staff, and students and parents when it comes to coronavirus and distance learning?
Well, one of the things that I think that most people know about Erasmo Castro, and some may not, but most people know, is that and one of the things that I got after the forum, Roman, I got a lot of people that said, "Hey, who was participating in the forum? That didn't sound anything like you, Erasmo." He said we were expecting you to like, ah!
Why?
And I said, "No, guys, y'all need to understand. And you know me, Roman. Manny knows me well. I can joke around with the best of them. We go back and forth. We jib and jab each other, whatever. But when it comes down to business, there is no one that is going to be more on game than Erasmo Castro. And the AOBE forum is business, and the forum that we're going to have is going to be business. So you're going to hear the facts. You're going to get the information as it should be presented. So with the superintendent, once we're in office, it's going to be about business. I'll tell you one thing that's for sure. We are not going to buy out any damn contracts. There are going to be absolutely no golden parachutes given to anyone, because I have my theory in regards to why a lot of the superintendents in the past were let go with a big old handsome check upon leaving. What I will do as soon as I go in, become president of the board for BISD, is I will work with my fellow board members to establish certain goals for the superintendent, which will include the thinning of the herd in regards to the top-heavy organizational chart. That's going to be one of his first tasks.
Another people from outside the district, right?
Yeah, and another one is going to make sure that that he's actually out there earning his keep, earning his salary in regards to, being the one that can provide the answers instead of having 9 other individuals that are the go-to people.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Roman, when we had 53,000 students, which was when we had the most students at the district, we had five top people. Now with 40,000 students, we have 10.
Yeah, doubled, and it's ridiculous. It's insane.
10.
We have South Texas ISD that competes with us, and they always charge us taxes. They want to raise taxes on the entire valley because I don't know why they want to raise taxes. You don't support tax rate increases at all at the district at this point, or would you support just keeping everything the same?
I will say that nothing is ever off the table, but you know me well. My views are very, very conservative, and I do not care for increase in tax.
150-year-old turtle writing. One of the things that I, as a parent, because I'm a parent, having to deal with
that amazes me.
I know, right? Can you believe I procreated not once but twice? It's amazing, absolutely amazing. One of the things I'm having issues with is internet issues and distance learning and being able to communicate with teachers. As a board member, what can you do to make sure that teachers are being able to be responsive to parents and students? Because I had a complaint on your page. You had a teacher like, don't be calling me after hours, I have family time, and don't be calling me during the weekend, I have family time. What can you do what can the district do to make sure that these teachers know they can't be doing that kind of stuff?
First of all, we have to go back to the root of the problem. Roman, one of the things that, again, this board and this administration have failed our community. One of the things, and I started doing my shows back in, I think, March, when coronavirus, started to hit here in Brownsville. And let me tell you, since late March, early April, I was calling out this administration, start planning now. Start preparing now, because we are going to have to be doing distance learning at the start of the fall semester. Start planning now. And it seemed like they were doing everything in their power, everything they could to be reactive instead of being proactive. And what they were being reactive to was anything that I was saying. I mean, it was amazing to me how much control I had of everything that they were doing, because everything that I was recommending or suggesting for them to do, it seemed like they were doing the complete opposite. It made no sense. No sense. I mean, even things that you would think like anyone, a fifth grader could understand, they would just completely do the opposite. And that's what made them dig that hole. And the more they dug, the harder it was to get out of the hole. Well, go back into fall 2020, 2021. That is why we were in that hole. And you know what really irks my chain, Roman? What really ticks me off is that the ones that are getting the brunt of the backlash in regards to everything that's going on are my teachers, are my frontline staff, are the individuals that have to work directly with parents. I mean, I have, honestly, and I look at Roman, and I know that a lot of people, didn't appreciate the comment that the teacher made in regards to, family time, personal time. Y'all have to understand that, they are going through a lot, because not only are they having to work harder than they've ever worked for in life, they're also having to deal with this administration that has been absolutely non-supportive. They placed them in this predicament. They placed them in this position, to whereas now they have no answers to anything. There is no plan. Look, Roman, they promised, Flip-Flopping Philip promised laptops, promised Chromebooks, promised hotspots, and then the school, and then they asked the schools, well, let everyone know. Then they were promised school supplies. So they said, hey guys, we're getting school supplies, and everyone's going like, wow. And it was all politics.
It was. That's literally was the next. I'm glad you brought that up. The next question I was going to ask was the fake news out of BISD reporting.
It was made to make them look better. And what happens? They have nothing. They have nothing. And a lot of individuals were left without Chromebooks or hotspots. You saw the pictures, Roman. We have students sitting on the sidewalk next to a bus in the middle of Brownsville heat in order to más o menos get a little bit of Wi-Fi from a wonky bus.
Yeah.
For
I'm amazed because you know, I don't know who this person is. Ty, aren't you under house? Or what question is this question coming from?
If you're asking if I'm under house arrest, Ty, no, but I mean, I guess I could be.
Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not under house arrest.
A decent proposal?
Like, I have no idea what that question is coming from. You know, one of the things that the next question I wanted to ask you was about public versus private. Your opponent in this race comes from a private school background. You coming from a public school background. Not only do you come from a public school background, you come from a poor neighborhood, Southmost. I mean, I live in Southmost right now. You know, a lot of the people we go to work, we go out there and we do our job. We come back to our community, try to make it as better as we possibly can. You come from that background. And you've made it an issue. You've made it an issue. Why are you making this an issue versus public versus private? And I'll let you answer that.
Well, I never have made it an issue, private versus public. Let me tell you.
No, I mean her background. Her background being public.
Oh. Well, you know, and just to make it very, very clear, you know, I am probably the only candidate ever in the history of BISD elections that has had so much support from charter school folk and private school folk. You know, I have a lot of friends, a lot of people. Let me tell you, one of the things that I'm very impressed with, you know, students, teachers, coaches. They don't only invite me to BISD games, Los Fresnos games. I also get invited to a lot of the St. Joseph games. I also get invited to a lot of the Idea, Harmony, Jubilee games. And I do my best to attend because we're all community. You know, I was very, very much against when the superintendent and this corrupt board wanted to exclude charter school students from participating in the Charo Days events. You know, and the reason is that, you know, a lot of our students, they don't understand that type of marketing program or whatever the reasoning behind doing it. All they know is that these people excluded their primos or their brothers and sisters who go to charter schools, you know, and they just thought it was unfair. Most of the community thought it was unfair, and it was just uncalled for because the spirit of the season, you know, spoke to unity, bringing cultures together, bringing different people together. And that's what it should have been all about. So I have nothing against my private schools, my charter schools. They know Erasmo Castro. They know Erasmo Castro cares about them, cares about the community. My issue with my opponent being educated completely solely in private schools is that she has no concept or clue of what goes on in public schools. Right. I mean, she has never had to face the different struggles that you, me, Manny, and I'm going to guess Josh also have had to deal in public education. You know, it hasn't had to deal with waking up early in the morning, trying to put a little sandwich together because your mom and dad, they earn $3, $4, $5 more. So we don't qualify for free meals at the school, you know, and then you're in the cafeteria and, you know, you're trying to see if you could scrounge up whenever there's no food at home because mom and dad can't make enough money, and you're trying to, you know, see if anyone left anything on their plate left over that you could eat for lunch. That was the only lunch that we had. Those are the struggles that we lived through. You know, how can someone who has been raised in luxury, in wealth, ever empathize with the needs of my students who sometimes go without supper, Roman, who don't have Wi-Fi in their home, that have to sit in the middle of the day in the hot sun right next to a bus on a sidewalk in order to get connection because of a board that didn't prepare adequately. She can't empathize with my people. She can't empathize with anyone here in the city of Brownsville. That's my concern.
And that's a question that I would like for her to be able to answer. How are you going to be able to empathize? And it's a question that I think a lot of parents have in our community for her, and hopefully she'll be able to answer. Josh, you wanted to jump in and ask a question. I know that. So what was your question?
The question I wanted to ask Erasmo is one of the things you brought up recently is the the fine arts building being built. What is your game plan for that? If you and your fellow slate of candidates do take the board
Let me tell
majority
you,
coming up?
what has been very, very disheartening for my fine arts people and for my community as a whole. And going back, and if you permit me a little bit of leeway, y'all asked me in regards to taxes, raising taxes. Let me tell you, when I heard that this district back in 2014 was going to raise our taxes in order to build the Performing Arts Center, guys, I was not a happy camper because I don't care to raise taxes. So I actually went to that workshop. I went to the workshop where they were going to speak in regards to the Performing Arts Center. So I went to the workshop and I said, I was ready to speak and say, do not raise our taxes,
Right.
Do not raise our taxes. But let me tell you, at that meeting, there were several students there, fine arts teachers there. There were members of the community. Actually, it was jam-packed. And after conversing with them, conversing with the people, they wanted their taxes raised. And these were individuals that paid taxes. They were willing to sacrifice a little in order to get that Performing Arts Center built. Well, towards the end of public comment, when they finally called me up after so many individuals going on there and speaking in favor, they had changed my mind. And that is very, very hard to do with someone who is very, very conservative in regards to no new taxes, like Bush. No, read my lips.
There you go.
No new taxes. Well, that meeting, because the government is of the people, and the people wanted the taxes raised. So the only comment that I made at the meeting was, guys, I would prefer that y'all would have the meeting at a time where more taxpayers could come and not have it at noon, because that's when the meeting was held. With that said, the district voted on raising our taxes. They did raise our taxes. They put aside $35 million of our dollars to build the Performing Arts Center. The Performing Arts Center should have already been built. What happens at the district is they squander the money. They pocket the money. They steal the money in order to satisfy a lot of their pet projects that actually put money in their pockets because of the contractors that are already set aside and aligned in order to do the wonky stuff that goes on at the district that we all now know happens because of the arrest of Sylvia Atkinson. Now it's brought to light. It's what we've been saying for years. So in regards to the Performing Arts Center, the money is already there. We have already been taxed. It has already been set apart since 2014, 2015, 2016. We have to fulfill the promises that were made to the board, to our people. We have already been taxed for it. The money has already been placed aside. The Performing Arts Center is going to get built because it's already been allotted.
Just because someone went to a private school does not mean they did not have struggles or know what a struggle is.
You want me to answer that?
Yes, feel free.
Yeah, Dave, and look, man, I understand, but an individual who has had everything given to them in their life, they have a lot of different struggles than a lot of individuals like myself. Because an individual that went to a private school, and we're speaking about my opponent in this race, has never suffered hunger, and has never suffered as the want or need at all. Zuck! At the attack. So Dave, that is what I'm referring to. I'm not saying. Look, Dave, I know my private school students. I know my private school students. I know my private school parents. And I know that there's a lot of angst, depression, and a lot of other different struggles, bro. But we're talking about someone that is going to be an ambassador and a voice for 40 to 43,000 students. You have to empathize with the individuals that you're representing. If you don't know their struggles, you don't know their battles, you don't know their wants and their needs, how can you truly represent them on a board that is going to oversee not only their academia, but their formation and their future? Yeah. That's my response.
That's a good point. And one of the things that I've noticed, and I don't want this to be an attack on your opponent, but an attack fest, but you have an opportunity here to voice something. I don't want to talk about the blogs. I don't look at the blogs. Blogs don't matter to me. They can write whatever they want to. They just whatever. There's a blog in town that is getting ads. I'm assuming getting paid money because these are ads in favor of your opponent, and your opponent is a woman. At the same time, writing nasty things about having about rape. And wanting to be, talking about a woman being raped,
Glorifying rape,
yeah, and very misogynistic. Posting images of, I saw an image of an actual man placing his penis inside a vagina, doggy style, I guess, in a woman, and you have your opponent, and there are other candidates who are doing it, but specifically in your race, going out there glorifying these images and then saying, "Hey, vote for me." Do you think that's fair? Do you know, what do you have to say about that? How do you think that you defend women better than your opponent does? Because you're not placing ads on that guy's blog at all.
Oh no, Mario, the taxes were already raised. They were actually part of the 11 cents that were raised. Part of that money went to the Hannah Gym. So no new taxes on the Hannah Gym. It's already been taxed. That one's already been built. Performing Arts Center was taxed. Hasn't been built.
Yeah.
So yeah, going back into your question, Roman, let me say that my opponent is free to advertise in as many porn blogs as she so chooses. I mean, it's her choice, and I would prefer to be very, very cautious, because we are going to be out there and representing our students. And look, man, and I know people are going to say, well, Erasmo, you had a DWI, and look, yeah, again.
Up to it.
I took responsibility for my DWI.
Nancy Pelosi blaming the salon owner.
I came out. I accepted responsibility. I did what I had to do. And I want to believe that I did the right thing by resigning from the board to take care of the situation and to not be a hindrance or an interference or to cost our taxpayers any more money in regards to having to drag the process along. With that said, that was an incident that happened. Making a constant choice over and over and over again, which is what my opponent has opted to do. I mean, she has continued to place ads in the porn blog, in a porn blog that glorifies the rape of women, glorifies the rape of women, and speaks of it very, very lightly. And again, I mean, that is her choice and her option. But anyone that would want to read, or will want to get information in regards to my opponent, or will want to share the advertising that she is out there posting on these porn blogs, I mean, it's not going to be a good example for our students out there, especially someone that is supposedly very progressive, because she even got endorsed by Run for Something, progressive online little application crap. And again,
people that I don't even know. I didn't even realize
it's one of those kill the babies and
one of those
everyone and police, and it's one of those movements. It's one of those progressive movements. And again, more power to people that believe in that. Again, not here to either way, but again, it goes with that mentality. But we just went through the Me Too movement, And for someone who supposedly is so progressive, who glorifies abortion, who glorifies the defunding of police, hates the police, and glorifies rape of a woman, I think it's a mistake.
I saw you the other day on Elizabeth Street. I wanted to give you a ride because it was a hot day. Don't think I was trying to be funny or anything like that. I respect you a lot. Keep doing what you're doing. Good job. Awesome.
Thank you, Don Esteban. I appreciate that. And y'all can give me a ride anytime you want. My office is downtown, so I was probably doing some morning walks. So no, please, you can give me a ride anytime. I greatly appreciate. I appreciate the love and the support. Thank you.
One of the things is that when you went on the board last time, you were not in the majority, you were in the minority. Yes. And so Josh made reference to this a little while ago, having to do with a slate, because it's very difficult to go in as a minority. You've been in there, you getting voted down and whatnot, constantly being attacked. And so there's been rumors that there is some sort of a slate with you and other candidates. And I don't want to not go without asking you, is there a slate? There's this mythical, magical slate, or is there a legitimate slate of candidates that
look, I don't want to necessarily call it a slate. What I'm going to say is that there's a lot of like-minded individuals who agree that this superintendent has done a horrible job, that this board has covered up corruption, that has gone to bat for Sylvia Atkinson. We've got one individual on that board that was appointed by Sylvia Atkinson. We have a corrupt board that continues to permit Sylvia Atkinson to sit in meetings after having robbed our students, our teachers blind. So again, I'm going to say that it's just a lot of like-minded individuals who agree that if we made promises to our people, if we have already taxed our folks, then fulfill the promises that were made, hold the superintendent accountable, make sure that there are goals set, and most importantly, end the vendor issue with vendors putting money into politicians' pockets, because that is what has caused the board members that we have on now and the board members that's going to be off this November to continuously bleed off vendors and off contracts. That needs to be taken care of day one. And let me tell you, after getting sworn in, it's going to be taken care of that same night. I promise you.
You have and I support the way you think, but are you willing to give the kids of BISD more privacy as far as posting photos with the minors and posting them online and following the same rules as teachers?
I will answer that because it's a fair question. Let me tell you, Dave, as soon as I became a board member, Dave, I did stop completely taking pictures with individuals. Well, one of the things I think a lot of people have ignored is that people ask to take pictures with me. That is the difference. And people are the ones that are posting pictures with me on there. Now, in regards to privacy, you're trying to make a board member adhere to the same policies that a teacher does. And it's not the same boat, because as a board member, Dave, you are not an employee of the district. You see, they cannot limit you because you are not part of that organization. And let me tell you, as much as a lot of people, complain about it, there needs to be that separation. The board as a private entity in regards to being part of a public entity, in regards to being part of the general public, and the administration. When you have that interference, then it's called a violation of governance. Shouldn't exist. So you cannot make a board member adhere to the same rules and regulations as a teacher does or an employee of the district does. Remember, folks, this is a non-paying position. We don't get paid by anyone out there.
You are the board is a check on provides oversight, and you're a check, and there needs to be some sort of balance. Now, you as a board themselves can govern yourself and have rules for yourself, but they don't necessarily have to be exactly the same rules that you would for a teacher.
Well, let me, if you permit me a little bit of leeway in regards to that one as well. Let me tell you, part of the problem is, and y'all saw it when I was on the board. The problem is because Sylvia controlled the board, controlled the individuals. She had the majority on there. She set up things that were just nuts and crazy. They wanted to control who I could have on my social media page, who I could not have on my social media page. That was crazy. I mean, it was just madness. And let me tell you guys, I don't care who you are. If you're going to come onto my page and ridicule my parents, call my children out by names, come out with your stupidity, you better believe that I'm going to block you from my damn page. I don't care who you are. And I don't care if I'm an elected official or not. If you want to take me to court like, oh, well, President Trump I don't care. Take me to court. But for a board, just because it's controlled by a corrupt individual trying to sanction me because of social media postings is really, really unfortunate. And it's really uncalled for. But that's what happens when you give a corrupt majority power at BISD.
Yeah, we'll have a couple more minutes and then we'll let you go so you can get ready for your show. But I could let you maybe answer this question real quick. Erasmo, what's your opinion or position on local Cameron County military student veterans? A lot of us support your politics of mindset regarding our local politics.
Let me tell you, man, one of the things that, we have failed as a community is, our local veterans. And look, guys, it's very simple. I hate panhandling. I hate all this other crap that we have ordinance in places for. I hate the fact that a lot of the times you'll have these groups come down from God knows where to protest on at the bridge, trying to say, "Oh, let people cross over, let them come over, and let open up the bridge, and everyone come from Mexico and everyone come from Central America." And they were doing it with the individuals that were coming from Central America. It's just crazy. It's madness. Oh, let them all come over. Are you going to take care of them? Are you going to open the doors of your house to welcome all these individuals that are coming in from Central America? Simple as that. Goodness gracious. Let's take care of our veterans. Let's take care of our poor, because there are poor people here in the United States, American citizens. So I don't care what anyone says out there. Oh, well, y'all don't have a heart. It's not you have a car. You take care of your own. It's biblical. He who doesn't provide for his house is worse than a heathen. That's what scripture says. We have to take care of our own in our own home. And I'm sorry, the Cameron County has failed our veterans. City of Brownsville has failed our veterans. Goodness gracious, the state of Texas has failed our veterans. It's time to start to focus on us, what makes us stronger as a nation. And of course, after we have all these things, after then we overflow, then yes, the United States has been a very, very gracious country to everyone around the world. I mean, and still we're treated like trash around the world. No, let's take care of our own first. And then with the overflow, sure, let's go out there and help other individuals throughout the world. But let's take care of our individuals who have fought for our freedoms.
Oh, I am curious who is Roman. Is he a politician in Brownsville? Never heard of him. Maybe Rodney. And I'm going to let Erasmo ask this question, answer this question. Who am I? Who is Roman? Am I a politician?
He's a troll.
I'm a troll. That's what I am. That's what
I already answered that question.
No, not a troll. Am I a politician? No, I'm an adjunct faculty member at Wayland Baptist University. I've run for office a couple of times. I am active in my community. I've been active for many years. Erasmo and I go way back. This is RioPolitics is a page that myself, Manny, and a couple other people have started. We will be providing, this as a service to our community because we need it. It's not. Erasmo's show is very different. Erasmo's show is fun. I love being on his show. Hopefully he'll have me on again at some point, because I guess maybe he doesn't want me having me on, because when I'm on, my hair's like a mess and he gets all pissy on me or whatever.
I'll answer this question if you want.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, sure.
You keep saying corrupt, and you're right. You're right, but you support Chambers. I don't think I've ever said that I supported Chambers, Dave. And let me tell you something. I think a lot of people misconstrue the fact that I've said John Chambers is a friend. John Chambers and I have always been very friendly. We've all
Roger Stoner, County.
Dave, we have always been friends. I don't consider Eric Garza an enemy at all. I just, at that time, I was running a race. I'm running a race now. I'm not going to interfere in the county sheriff race at all. Do I consider John Chambers a friend? He's always been very friendly to me. I consider him a friend. Look, man, I don't ditch my friends because they come into some situation or other, unless it is proven that they're out there stealing from my children.
Yeah,
they're stealing from my children and from my teachers and from other individuals that are out there hardworking, then I have an issue with. So what do you have to say for that? That's what I have to say. John Chambers is a friend. Someone came up, look, and I know some folks here don't like Morgan Graham-Cisneros. Morgan Graham-Cisneros has always been a friend to me, and has always been kind and always been courteous. And I know, but it's the same thing with Roman is a friend of mine, and they don't agree with the same politics. They're disagreeing. That's fine. It doesn't make me less of a friend to Roman. It doesn't make me less of a friend to Morgan Graham-Cisneros. Goodness gracious, guys. There's going to come a time when we're all going to have to ultimately decide that, hey, man, just because someone takes a picture with someone, just because someone calls someone other friend, doesn't necessarily mean that they agree with everything they believe in, everything that they've done, or all the politics that they've done. Can you imagine? And let me tell you, a lot of my friends have been very questionable. I mean, if I go out here and say, which is a fact, Jared Hakama is a very good friend of mine. I love Jared Hakama. I really love Jared Hakama. He's the Cameron County Democratic chair. I love the man. I do. I love the guy. Great friend of mine. More is a great friend of mine. To me, it's not a thing about politics. Not about a thing about party. To me, it's a thing about platform. And I will always vote for platform before voting for party. I will vote with individuals who are in like mind. I will vote for people who defend and protect the Constitution of the United States, because I, above all, am a constitutionalist. I believe in the rights of the people. I believe that government is of the people, for the people, and by the people. 100%. Why support a person like Chambers? Again, I've never went out there and supported Chambers. Again, Chambers is a friend of mine. I've never went out there and supported Eric Garza either. And Eric Garza is a friend of mine as well. Simple as that.
Yeah. Well, and the other question I was going to add, when Zach got to our friend from KURV, I have also been an election night analyst for KURV, and I don't want to bring that up, but it pisses Erasmo off. I've been on KURV.
And especially because, let me tell you, Zach, I'm still upset with you, bro, because you all have yet to have me on y'all's new show, and I am upset, Zach, that y'all had Roman, but have not had me.
And I think I'm so. And I think
supposed to have me soon, Erasmo.
Really? See?
Have you?
I'm calling you like Erasmo. I don't even know who you're talking about.
No, Zach got through from KRV. He's very said. Erasmo was very upset at Sergio Sanchez and Zach for having me on election night coverage for KURV primary night in March. I'm supposed to be on election night coverage, right, Zach, in November. So it's gonna be great. Why do you have to bring that up? Y'all put me in such corner. We do it because we love you, Zach, and the fact that you're watching is great. And I want to have you on my show. You know what? Maybe you should have me on your 956 show on Saturday and just really piss off Erasmo before you get it. Hey, Ruli, Erasmo Room. Hey, Ruli. Well, I've had a blast doing the show with you today, Erasmo. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate the fact that you come on. I wanted you to have you be our first local candidate. We were supposed to have Veronica on Thursday, but in a way, I'm kind of glad it worked out this way, that you're our first candidate here, because this is Labor Day weekend. This is the start of the general election, and you're our first candidate, and I wish you the best of luck. And I want your opponent on the show as well, because I want to ask her good, tough questions, fair questions, and I'll have anybody on who wants to come on. I don't really care. I'll even have Josh's friend and your friend Morgan, if she wants to come on the show and answer questions. That'd be great. Why, yes, let's do that. Awesome. Oh, I have to pay you? Is that what those little money signs mean? I have to pay you? I had no idea. I don't have that kind of cash, man. I don't have that kind of cash.
Well, before I go, I want to say thank you all for the invite. Thank you for having this means for individuals out there. I think more of these are needed, where different individuals can express their opinions, their concerns, their wants and acts. And, I think that's what social media, is actually gearing itself to. One of the things that I appreciate is, and I hope everyone else out there appreciates, is that, guys, I will go on any show, do any interview whatsoever. I've gone on to some shows that some people will say, like, you're really going on to that show? And again, I will answer any questions whatsoever, no matter who they come from, as long as they're respectful. Again, Dave has come, ask some questions. I will answer any and all questions as long as they're respectful. I have no issue with answering questions. It is something that I hope that all individuals who are seeking office are willing to do as well. Let people know who you are, what you represent. What do you actually bring to the table? It's important, and that's one of the reasons why I want to thank you all for having this forum, having this RioPolitics, and much success to you all, and much success to all the other guests who come onto this show.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing is amazing about you, Erasmo, and you're one of the few candidates that I know that will come on any show and answer any question, and you can't really say that about your other candidates. The non-Erasmo slate candidates. It's embarrassing that we have elected officials don't go on.
And Dave, I didn't take it in a bad way. Again, Dave, your questions were fair, and they were respectful. And again, any other questions that you may have, Dave, I have a Facebook page out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Promote your Facebook page. What's your Facebook page?
Erasmo Castro. Dave, and honestly, and I say this with all sincerity, Dave, and anybody else. I mean, I don't mind. You ask me any and all questions. If you want to come over, have a cup of coffee. We'll maintain some social distancing.
Cookies.
I will, and come and eat some of my amazing cookies. But come, I would be willing to answer any questions at any time, at all moments. I am starting this cookie revolution. Let me tell you, it's
I forgot to ask you that question. Whose cookies are better, Frankie's cookies or Carlos's cookies? I'm curious because they both have cookies, right, Carlos? Oh, your cookies are better. Okay,
these are the. And let me and before I leave,
are they cheesy flavors?
These are amazing. Let me tell you guys, and the reason that we did the cookie revolution is because I want individuals out there to realize that you deserve the entire cookie. For far too long, we as a community have been given crumbs. We have been given the leftovers. Individuals have gone out there and have decimated everything that belongs to you as a member of this community. We deserve so much better, and we could have so much better. So please, folks, no more crumbs. Don't be satisfied with crumbs. You deserve the entire cookie. So come and pick up some Erasmo cookies.
Yeah, I need to get.
That's why we're having the cookie revolution.
That's the cookie revolution. Who do you have on your show tonight at 9 anyway? Who do you have on?
Actually, I do not know.
Okay, I love cookies.
Humberto, come pick up some cookies, bro. They're all yours. Love y'all. I don't know, but I'll be on at 9 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock in the morning. And when Benny looks like he can make some bomb cookies. He just look like
you can eat them too. You can eat them.
Guys, I love y'all. I love all three of y'all. Thank y'all so much for everything you do for the community.
We're going to stay on a little bit longer with Josh because Josh wanted some Republican conservative stuff we were going to talk about. So those of you who want to stay on, listen to something that Josh has to say. But we'll be off definitely before 9 o'clock. But Osmo, I'll let you go so you can go and enjoy. Good luck on your show tonight. God bless.
God bless.
Peace and love.
Good night.
All right. That was Erasmo Castro, the great and powerful cheese. Josh, you wanted some stuff to talk about, the Republican stuff or conservative stuff, right? That's what you wanted to talk about?
I just wanted to cover the Trump train from this past weekend, the great success that it was. And we had, I think we lost count after like 400 cars. It was huge. It was great. And so we are planning to have another event this coming weekend. I'll have the details out by midweek because we're having it's a good problem we're having, but just when you're having to take into account so many people or so many cars, it takes a little bit longer to plan. So, but keep looking at our Facebook page, Cameron County Conservatives, for the details.
And your Facebook page is Cameron County Conservatives Facebook page. You are now over 800 people, and what's amazing about your group is you actually sort of have to apply to get into the group because you want specific questions answered before you can get on, and you have already surpassed the number of members of your group than even the local Republican Party in Cameron County's like page, right? Is that about right? I
believe that's what I was told. Yes. Yeah.
So you all, and that page, anybody can like it. Just like, and with you got like, there's a special handshake you got to do. I'm curious what your thoughts are on the Biden, riding with Biden train that happened in Brownsville. Comparably to your all 400 cars that you had that did throughout the valley. What are your thoughts on that?
Something happened with riding with Biden.
Yeah, there were 22 cars. We counted 22 cars.
22 cars.
Yeah, yeah, that's what we counted. Well, it wasn't just cars; there were big ass trucks as well. And I found that very.
I'm joking. I heard about it, but I'm not trying to make fun of it. I'm really not. But for being in an area that's supposed to be as deep blue as it is, and they had 22 cars. I mean, I find that really lacking. We've had cars from all over the valley show up. So much so that our friends in Hidalgo County are now looking to go do trains in Starr County and even up towards Laredo with how much interest they've gotten. So I don't want to necessarily say a red wave is possibly happening, but it's looking pretty good.
Why did the newspaper say there were 100 for right? Because the newspaper is not completely accurate. We went over this last week when they did a story on Erasmo, and hopefully we'll have Erasmo back on at some point, maybe in a few weeks again as we get closer to October and November. But last week they even said that little Eddie Garcia was running for re-election, And he wasn't running for re-election. It was a complete fake news lie. He's running for a completely different seat. So for you to see that the newspaper said there were 100 for writing, it shouldn't shock you. It's called fake news. It's the same our newspaper that did that wonderful thing where they said that Eddie Garcia was running for re-election when he wasn't.
Yeah, and they keep showing that photo with just that one car.
And there's that one car on the photo. And the thing is, the story that you're probably referring to was a story that was written by Travis Whitehead, the great former food critic for the Brownsville Herald turned reporter working for the Valley Morning Star. He was doing that story, and there was no video or pictures of anything more than what they had. There are no passionate Biden supporters here. Democrats will pinch their nose and vote for him. You're probably, that's a good point, Paul. I don't see the enthusiasm amongst Democrats. I mean, I'll see it amongst Democrats that are, that were Biden supporters from the very beginning, like my friend Trey Mendez. He's very excited for Biden, or my friend Ruben Robel, or even my friend Gilberto Hinojosa, the state party chair for the Democratic Party. They're passionate about Biden, but the everyday voter probably isn't. Josh, I made the point yesterday when we were looking at the images of the 22 vehicles, because they weren't all just cars, some of them were actual trucks. What are your thoughts on big ass trucks being used by Biden supporters, the same Biden supporters to say that climate change is real? And today we had the mayor of LA, Los Angeles, say you need to shut off your electricity. You have to shut off your air conditioner because climate change is real and we can't even keep the lights on. What are your thoughts on that, Josh?
Sounds a little hypocritical.
Yeah. So
I mean, there's not much else to say. I mean, they're saying one thing and doing another. So I mean, it's like they want to have their cake and eat it too.
There you go, Zach.
People, not cars, but yeah, the one car was super funny. The Monitor covered the Trump train 2 weeks in a row with better pictures. Look, that's actually, they said more than 100 people, Zach, more than 100 people. But more than 100 people, like let's say there were 20 cars, there were 5 people or more in each car on average. Give me a break. I doubt it. There were not more than 100 people. And the thing is, I think the Monitor story is the one referencing Harlingen, and I don't even think they had that many people in Harlingen as well. Maybe they were counting everybody in the Valley. There were more than 100 Biden supporters riding to protest in McAllen. Okay, I don't know who's banging stuff, but somebody's banging in the background. The McAllen one, the one in Harlingen and Brownsville, counting them all together and saying more than 100. But seriously, this was 1.4 million people that live in the Valley. 1.4 million people. How many of those people are Democrats? A good chunk of them are, because this is a deep blue area. You couldn't get that many people. Yeah, they're going to argue, well, it was raining. There was a lot of people raining, and they kept away. There was a storm. Like, there were 400 cars that joined the Trump train on the same weather conditions that went from town to town, getting detained by police officers and PI in Los Fresnos, because Los Fresnos is famous for being a speed trap.
The weather was good.
Can you imagine? There would have been so many more people. But maybe that's what kept them away. Maybe these are shy Biden voters that don't want to get out and get wet in the rain. I don't know. Or maybe they want to maintain social distancing. Who knows? I've maintained social distancing. I stayed in my vehicle, did the Trump train, just went there and didn't talk to anybody and didn't. It was a fun day. I'm looking forward to whatever y'all's plans are this weekend, and it should be fun. I'm just curious. I'm going to ask you this question, and then we can get off. We have currently in a Republican elected official, not an elected official, to represent everybody, just representing the Republican Party, going out and trashing the Republican congressional candidate on social media. Do you think, Josh, that it's fair to have a Republican elected within the Republican Party trashing the nominee of the party? And we're not even talking about Vanessa Tijerina. We're talking about, Dr. Ray Gonzalez. What are your thoughts on that, Josh?
I don't think it's fair. I think she should be supporting the Republican Party as it is. The other issue, though, at play in this, though, to be kind of fair to both sides as of right now, is that Dr. Gonzalez needs to come out and address the claims of what has been brought out in this news article. So it's kind of, to me, it's kind of up in the air right now, to be honest with you. I know Dr. Ray personally. He's always been a nice person to me. He's always seemed like an honest and upstanding person. So I'm sure there's an answer to it. He just needs to come out and say what that answer is. And until that time, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, and we've invited Dr. Ray Gonzalez on the show. Hopefully he'll be able to come on the show. Again, this show is for anybody who wants to come on and answer questions, whatever the questions I may come up with. It'll be fun, loose, and you know, but I think hard hitting in some instances. You know, you saw today with Erasmo. I had a question. He may not agree with the question or the tone of it, but he answers it anyway, regardless. And that's what, you know, we should hold our elected officials and candidates, you know, to be able to. So anybody in the Valley, lots guys were calling you guys coconuts. Yeah, and that's racist, honestly, Humberto. To be able to call a person who doesn't necessarily agree with the general, you know, Latinos or Hispanics are not the same as according to Joe Biden, that, you know, blacks are all think the same and Latinos and Hispanics don't all think the same. That was Joe Biden's argument, insulting to African Americans, really. But not all Latinos, not all Latin American, you know, Hispanics, you know, agree with the same thing. But to actually call somebody a coconut, meaning that they're brown on the outside, white on the inside, is disgusting and racist. And quite frankly, we've discussed it on our show. We've had Jessica Puente Bradshaw discuss that. So you should get John Chambers on here. He's more than welcome to come on. We're supposed to have John Fuller, another candidate for what he's running for sheriff as a Brighton candidate. John's more than welcome to come on the board, you know, if he wants to come on. Have him get a hold of me or Manny, and we'll schedule John. You know, so if you know him, Dave, I know John personally, so John's more than welcome to ask me to come on the show. You know, I'm not voting in that particular race, at least not right now. So it's up to him to be able to convince me to vote for him, and he should be able to convince anybody to run in. I'll even have Eric Garza on the show. This is not just about Republican side. I want to have nonpartisan Democrats even. I'm going to get a hold of, hopefully get Roberto Hinojosa, and I'd love to have him on the show because this is a good show where you can talk to conservatives, maybe convince them to go on your side. Great show, fellas. Thanks, Richard. You know, make sure you like the page, subscribe to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that we can have our, you know, more viewers. We like it. I appreciate it. It is already 8:58. I'm gonna let you all go. Give you all a couple minutes because I know we have some Erasmo viewers that are here, so you can be able to log on and get ready to watch Erasmo's show and enjoy it. So God bless you all. Thanks for joining in. We're here every night, pretty much every night at 7:30. Who do we have on the show tomorrow, Manny?
Tomorrow we've got Carlos Elizondo.
Carlos is running for BISD, a different place, not running against Carlos. And on Wednesday's gonna be an awesome show. Wednesday we're gonna have Frankie Olivo on the show, and we're gonna talk football. Okay, this is not just a politics page. We're gonna talk about football. Come get ready. You know, we want you to be able to tell us who you think is gonna win over the weekend. We're gonna go through every single NFL game, and we're gonna pick and choose who we think is gonna win. And next week we'll figure it out, you know, who did a good job. So Wednesday night is going to be our politics/sports nights, and we're going to be here at 7:30. So again, please make sure you like our page, please, and turn on your live notifications so that when we come on soon, I guarantee you we're going to have written posts by me and others. We invited as guest writers on RioPolitics.com, so you're going to get fresh perspective from different people. I think Josh is going to be writing for us. Manny's going to be writing for us, so it's great.
Yes.
Did Manny say a single word in this show?
Yes.
Also, Manny is our CEO webmaster, and he's also he is the KUR version of Joe Salinas from KURVA.
Welcome.
So it's awesome. Glad to find you guys. Thanks, Sam, for coming on the show. God bless you all. And good night from Real Politics Live. God bless. Bye.
Good night, guys.